We got a big college football day tomorrow. We got UNLV in action. We've got NFL football on Sunday, including our Las Vegas Raiders. Tom Brady coming to town. I can't believe it, ladies and gentlemen. What better person to talk about all this than KDWN's very own from SporsXRadio, Ken Thomson. He does a show Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 p.m. Ken, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, KT?
What's going on, gentlemen? How are you on this Friday?
Doing all right.
Doing good. Before we get to the Raiders, and I know that's your bread and butter, but before we get to that, let's talk a little college football. Let's go local. Let's talk UNLV. UNLV on the road against San Diego State. And by the way, the breaking news is they are going to 100% allow fans at Allegiant Stadium to watch UNLV games. Not going to be a lot, maybe 6,000 or 7,000, but that's certainly a positive. What is the spread, KT? UNLV on the road against San Diego State. What's the total and what's the line looking like?
All right, you know what? Let me just go back there, get the updated line right here. I'm scrolling through here, and the Rebels right now are plus 14. There are a couple 14.5s out there. Total is 50, anywhere from 49.5 to 50.5 is the total, just depending on where you shop here in Vegas.
All right, so KT, I'm going to be honest with you. I have absolutely no opinion and no idea what's going to happen in this game. I don't know enough about San Diego State. I certainly don't know enough about UNLV. Tell me about UNLV's quarterback. Tell me about San Diego State. I have no idea what to expect in this game. Talk to us a little bit about it.
Yeah, you know what? And I mean, that's the thing. As far as the Big Ten and the Mountain West just joining the party, you've got several other conferences that have been playing for weeks. So that's where my money's going to be. I'm going to be, concentrating on those. I will watch all the other games, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to be wagering. I may get involved if I see something that makes sense early in a game. That's the great thing about having the in-game wagering, that you can get involved as the game's going. Because like you, again, there's a lot of unknowns. And then when you start talking about teams that haven't had a chance to practice, haven't, a lot, haven't, done a lot as far as, contact drills, it's just going to take a little bit of time to see how these teams are. You got Big Ten in action today with Wisconsin and Illinois, so I'll be paying attention to that game. But I'm going to really concentrate monetarily as far as, playing with the conferences and the leagues that have already been rolling for the last, 5, 6, 7 weeks.
So another Big Ten game. Rondale Moore is out for Purdue. Iowa, I think they're -4 right now. On the road, they've won their last 21 games as a favorite on the road. They're 17-3 against the spread. What are your thoughts on that game? And then also Nebraska, they're plus 27 against Ohio State. I think Nebraska is one of the most underrated teams in the country. Do you agree with me?
Yeah, they might be. I mean, Adrian Martinez, we're all waiting for
right, exactly.
Something. I mean, again, and they've lost players. Look, they have some decent skill position players, but in the 6 games they played Ohio State since joining the Big Ten, they are 1-5 straight up, 1-5 against the number. Failing to, as far as the games, Ohio State's winning those games by an average of 27.5 points a game. They're covering by an average of 16.5 points above the spread. Mm-hmm. So to take Nebraska, yeah, it looks good. Scott Frost, again, don't know if he's even getting the athletes that he needs to get in order to compete with a team like Ohio State that's 3-4 deep with 4- and 5-star players.
So going back to UNLV, because I think that's what a lot of people in Las Vegas want to talk about, at least for now, it's Coach Arroyo, right? This is his first game. I don't know a lot about this guy. We know where he was. We know where he is now. Do you think the offense is going to look completely different? I mean, where do you – and again, we both don't know a lot, Ken, about this team. We could talk about the players and the players he recruited and all that. We still don't know. What do you expect from this UNLV team on Saturday, if anything? What should we expect from this team?
Well, I expect the team to, up-tempo a little bit. I mean, that's a Royal – you're coming from Oregon. You're coming from a place where it's offense happy. So – Oblad's a decent quarterback. You have Rodgers, also the TCU transfer. Look, you got one of the best running backs, not only in the Mountain West, but on the West Coast, and Charles Williams. Can Collins and Gasser and some of the receivers step up? Remember, it's not only Arroyo's first game. Brady Hoke, who's been there, it's his second stint now with San Diego State, is there. And we'll see, as far as their quarterback, Carson Baker's supposed to start, and then Jordan Bird's pretty good running back. So, again, there's just so many unknowns. I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna focus in. The only team that has a game under their belt that's in action is Air Force, and they broke in a new quarterback in Daniels and a pretty good running game. They'll be playing San Jose State. So yeah, I'll pay attention to the Mountain West, the Big Ten. I mean, Brian, what I don't watch on Saturday live, I'll go back and I'll watch all those games pretty much throughout the week.
Mm-hmm. KT, I asked you about Clemson and Miami a couple weeks ago. I said Miami was going to cover. I was wrong. I talked about Georgia against Bama. I said Georgia was going to cover. I was wrong. You took Clemson and Bama on both those games. You were correct. I watched this Bama offense play. Their offensive line goes 6'7", 360. They go 6'5", 350, 6'5". They have the biggest offensive line I've ever seen. I think their offense is one of the best offenses. And I said the same thing about Georgia's defense. I was obviously wrong, but I think their offense is one of the best offenses I've seen in a while. And I don't think it can be stopped. Are Clemson and Bama the two best teams in the country by a lot?
Well, so far, I mean, what we've seen, yeah, I mean, you've got Ohio State who's going to step right up there, and I don't think anybody's going to mess with them in the Big Ten. You'll have some pretenders early in the eastern half, and then people are looking at Wisconsin to be in the western half. By the way, if you didn't know, Wisconsin's quarterback Cohn is out. I know you know, JD, but Graham Mertz is a young prodigy that they're looking at, and he'll start today.
Yeah, 4-star.
So. So still the team to beat, year in, year out is Wisconsin with the mammoth offensive line and the offensive weapons they have. They'll go at a slow pace. They'll try and bowl you over. I think Illinois could hang in there. I think there's too many points in the opening game. Lovie Smith's got some athletes, and he's got a bunch of Power 5 transfers as well over there to Illinois. So I'll look at that game potentially if it goes to 21 to, taking a shot at Illinois early. And see if I can't get on it or get off it or get myself a nice middle based on how the first half is going over there. I've been to several games in Wisconsin. Camp Randall's a great place when there are fans in the stands, and that's the whole thing. You're trying to figure out how many schools are allowing how many kids and fans into the stands to make a difference.
He is Ken Thomson, SporsXRadio, Monday through Friday right here on KDWN. 8 to 10 p.m. All right, let's switch topics now. Let's go to the Las Vegas Raiders. I never thought I would say this. Tom Brady, first of all, in a Buccaneers uniform. Second of all, playing an NFL game in Las Vegas. It was supposed to be Sunday Night Football. Instead, they've changed it because at least 5 players, if I'm not mistaken, have tested positive for the coronavirus on the Las Vegas Raiders. Number one, does that affect the outcome of this game? Number two, tell us the spread, tell us the line.
Yeah, and it's not that they've tested positive. Trent Brown's tested positive. The other players were in contact with Trent Brown.
Gotcha.
And so so these guys, including Jonathan Abram, saying he has been shifted to injured reserve. So it's saying they don't know when he's going to be, put back in. And now I'm seeing it's showing that pretty much with all the guys from the offensive line, Rodney Hudson, Denzel Good. Brown, we knew, was the one that had tested positive. Here's the thing, because they did shift it from Sunday night to Sunday afternoon game. But from what I'm understanding, the Raiders, even though they're thin and they're going to have to go with backups on that offensive line, if these guys are not reinstated by Sunday morning, and they've all been testing negative, but if they're not reinstated by Sunday, the Raiders are just going to be playing with a thin offensive line, and good luck with that against Tampa Bay's defensive line. Tampa Bay's defense, you saw them get after Rodgers and sack him 4 times.
Ken, what's the line right now? What's the line right now in the total?
Last I had seen is for those that put it back up, I'm going to go right now because it was 4 last night, and right now it is 4. It's sitting at 4. There are some 3.5s out there as well. So 52 is the total. Boy, I'll tell you, the way Tampa Bay looked the last 3 quarters against Green Bay, it's hard for me, not to look at them if the Raiders are going to be that short-handed on the offensive line. Right now, it's a game. I'll say, I do have a ticket in hand with Buccaneers -3.
Okay, so Ken, you and I have been very right on these Raiders games. I'm 5-0 picking against the spread in Raiders games. I'm going to give you my pick right now. I like your ticket at -3. I recommend buying it down to -3 if you can. But if you can't, I still like the Buccaneers. I think the Raiders are in a little bit of trouble. I think the Buccaneers are clicking. I think you would agree with me on that. I understand that the Raiders are coming off of a huge win, but they had an off week. You don't know how they're going to respond. I think the first 8 minutes or so of this game is going to dictate what we're going to see for the next 3 quarters of the game. But you ask me right now, I'm giving my pick. I like the Buccaneers. Giving the points, I really think that the Buccaneers are going to come out strong. I think the Raiders are in trouble. I think they've got some issues internally, not just with the coronavirus. They just came off of a big win. I understand that, but that wasn't last week. That was 2 weeks ago. I think the Buccaneers just might be a little bit too much for the Raiders to handle, and that's nothing to take away from the Raiders. The Buccaneers are a very good football team. I like the Buccaneers in this one. I really do.
Yeah, no, I tell you, if the Raiders' offensive line is back intact on Sunday, I think the Raiders will win the game.
Really? Wow.
Right now I have the Bucs, and that's just an advantage play because, knowing that these guys we're going to, be on the shelf at least for now as far as COVID. But I think the Raiders, are you kidding me with who's covering Henry Ruggs? I mean, I'm looking at what Mike Evans has done. He hasn't really done much. He's gotten in the end zone. Godwin did come back last week. Last week was the first time he even saw Gronk and even knew he was on the field. Ronald Jones had an outstanding game. So I think the Raiders will shut down Ronald Jones or slow him down, not give him 113 like he had against Green Bay. And if you slow him down and force Brady, what you want to do with Brady is totally the opposite of what you wanted to do with Mahomes. With Mahomes, you want him to stay inside the pocket. You don't want him outside. With Brady, you want to flush him outside because the guy can't run, and you're going to, expose him and get him, outside his comfort zone, which is in the pocket. So I do think the Raiders are good enough to outscore them. I think Henry Ruggs makes this team just so hard to contain offensively, and the Raiders are going to have to outscore some teams. In this game, it may be what they have to do to win the game, but it all depends on that offensive line, because if you lose 4 or 5 starters on the O-line, you could be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I think if those starters are out for the game, I feel pretty comfortable with the Bucs and the under in a teaser. I don't see Trayvon Mullen and those corners being able to handle Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Gronk. You said he just kind of showed up last week. He looked pretty good, and Ronald Jones is actually 4th in the NFL in rushing, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are outstanding against. I think they're number 2 in the NFL against the run, and we know that in order for that Raiders offense to work, you need Jacobs on the ground getting 60 to 80 yards, and then passing the ball out to Waller, and you've got the linebackers with Levante David, who I believe was the NFL Player of the Week last week. I think the Bucs win this game going away if those guys are out.
Yeah, well, if the guys are out, I definitely feel I have a good ticket as far as Tampa Bay -3, no question, guys.
Fair enough. Well, Ken Thomson, always appreciate you coming on the show with us. SporsXRadio is 8 to 10 p.m. Monday through Friday on KDWN.
KT, where can we find your picks? Where can our listeners find your picks?
You go to againstthenumber.com. There'll be plenty of college and pro picks up there. And tonight, Brad Powers joins me. We go through every single college Division I game against the spread right into the NFL. It's the fastest 2 hours in sports radio.
Ken, always appreciate it when you take some time to join us, my man. Good luck this weekend. Thanks for coming on.
You guys, too. Have a great weekend.
Thanks a lot, KT.
There he is. He is the legend himself, the man, the myth, the legend, the angle shooter, Ken Thomson.